Hi everybody, I've got some rhubarb here. It's springtime and it's the time to use rhubarb. So I'm making a family recipe, rhubarb crunch. This recipe has two parts to it. First you make the crust and then you go ahead and make the topping and bake. Okay, these are the crust ingredients. I have 1 cup of flour. I'm using almond flour because we've run out of regular flour. We have 1/2 a cup of butter. It's really soft. And then I have 5 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Here's the ingredients for the filling. I'm using 1½ cups of sugar and 2 large eggs. Here we have 1/4 cup flour. We have 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And last we have the rhubarb, 2 cups of rhubarb, which are chopped into small pieces. Let's get started with the crust. I've already preheated the oven to 350 and we're going to use an 8x8 pan. You won't need to grease the pan because there's already enough butter in the crust. So the next step is to make the crust. To do this, you take the softened butter. It should be really soft but not quite melted. And you mix it with the flour. Again, this is almond flour. I've never used it. So they say you can replace regular flour with almond flour, no problem. And then this is the powdered sugar, which we'll just mix this all together to make the crust. Very simple. You don't even need a mixer. You just want to blend this all together. Okay, now this is going to have a consistency that I'm going to be able to press it into the pan and bake it. Okay, the next step is I just press it into the bottom of the pan. I suppose you could make a double batch if you wanted a bigger serving and put it in an 8x13 pan. And you just spread it all around. The batter is very thin in the pan, but it will raise up once it starts baking. You don't want a huge crust. Okay, now it's ready to go into the oven. Again, 350. So I'm going to bake this for about 15 minutes. And now I can start the topping. So while the crust is baking, let's get going on the topping. I beat the eggs together. Remember, there's 2 of them. And our sugar is going to go into the bowl. I'm adding the 4th cup of extra flour in here. Again, that was the almond flour, the salt, and the baking powder. Very simple. Now I'm going to mix that all together. You don't need to use an electric mixer for this recipe, so that makes it even easier. Just mix all those dry ingredients together. And then you add the eggs. So what you're going to have is more of a custard topping, a very sweet custard topping, I should say. But we need the sweetness to combat the tartness of the rhubarb. So there we go. Doesn't take much work, but now we wait until the crust is out of the oven and we will take it from there. Okay, 15 minutes is up, so I'm going to check on the crust. Well, I think it's done. It's still bubbling, but that's good, I guess. We'll see how this almond flour works out. So I'm just going to put it on a little rack to rest for a while, just a few minutes. I'm ready for the next step now, which is I'm just going to be pouring our mixture, our egg mixture, right on top of the hot cake. It's kind of odd looking here, but trust me, it's delicious. So this recipe actually has been made for years by my mother. You only get rhubarb early in the spring, so you need to enjoy it and eat a lot of it. It's such a treat, and I just love it. The last step is the rhubarb. So basically you just want to scatter this all over the top of your custard. A lot of times people put strawberries in this too. It just kind of sweetens it up even more and makes a little redder color. I didn't have any strawberries this time around, so this is just going to be great anyway. I'm really looking forward to it because I love some rhubarb. And 2 cups is just about right. I used 2 of the big long stalks, and that gave me about 2 cups. And it looks pretty even. No need to press it down. Now I'm going to take this, it's hot, so I'm going to put this back in the oven, again 350, and we're going to bake this for 35 minutes. I can't wait. Oh, it smells really good. It's time to come out of the oven. Ooh, it looks delicious. All bubbly and gooey. We gotta let it cool though. It's hard to wait, but we don't want to burn our tongues, so let's just let this cool off for about an hour or so. Okay, I'm going to cut the cake now and see how it turned out. A little gooey. Well, it's moist. Oh dear. Well, it's not as firm as I would like, but I bet it tastes good. Is this a fail? I'm not sure. It's Schnecken time, guys. Who likes rhubarb?
Me.
Well,
Double hands.
this is rhubarb crunch. And I used a different type of flour than I normally do, so it's more like rhubarb crumble. But I bet it tastes good, so let's have the taste panel.
I love rhubarb. It's gonna be good. The consistency is almost like pudding, like a bread pudding maybe. It's really good. Really good.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oops. 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 We have an oops here. Well, I would have liked to seen more separation between crust and topping, but try it, Ruth.
That's really good.
Too sweet?
No,
Nope.
I love rhubarb. This is so good.
You can also put strawberries in it. That would be good. Try it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like pie. I'll just put a tiny piece on for you and you can try it. How's this? Think that's big enough?
Yep. Too
No.
big.
Too big. Here you go, try it. You'll like it, it's sweet. Come closer, hon.
Ah, it's squishy.
Be brave, buddy.
Open up. Not acceptable.
He has issues with fruit. He just has issues with fruit.
He likes apples.
He tried it.
All right, this doesn't quite look like what Granny used to make. Just kidding. It looks good. It smells good. It's tasty, but the consistency is a bit off.
Right.
Really?
So, I mean,
I like it.
Well,
sugar, butter, and rhubarb can't go wrong, but it's a little mushy.
I noticed that you're not. That does not stop you from eating
No,
it.
I'm gonna eat the whole thing. Who are we kidding here?
I'm a bit disappointed in the aesthetics of it. I know it tastes good. It doesn't look like what my mother would make, but I'm gonna try it anyway. I hear it's good. Definitely not the way it's supposed to be, but in my book, this is a fail, but it tastes good. So I'll try it with regular flour next time. What can I say?
We still love you.
Okay.
I don't know. I really like it. I like the consistency. It's pretty darn good.
So, yeah.
I could tell when it was baking, it wasn't looking normal.
It was such a fail, we had to finish the entire pan in one sitting.
I think
Before anybody could see it.
Destroy the evidence!
It's really bad. Oh my.
Okay.
Stop.
Cackling.
I know, why do you always record me when I cackle?
Because it's funny.
Oh my god.